Hello there, and welcome back to Steam It with Steve. Today we're going to keep going on with our Holy Python tutorials, and today we're going to look at if statements. So there's a whole heap here, you can find the link down below, and they're awesome because you can do it all online and get direct feedback. So let's jump on in, here we go. So Python exercise 7a, write an if statement that asks for the user's name via input function. If the name is Bond, make it print welcome on board 007. Otherwise, make it print good morning name. Replace the name with the user's name. So just pause the video there and have a go yourself. Awesome, so here we go, let's have a crack. We'll go input and please enter in your name. So it's going to enter the name in, and then if the name, instead of 1 equals, we're now going to use 2 equals to compare. If the name is equal to Bond, which quotation marks around it, then we put a snaky by. We return, oh no, we're printing, sorry. We go print, welcome on board 007. Else, we go print, good morning, space, plus name. Cool, so let's give that a little run. We go Bond, welcome on board 007. We go Steve, morning Steve. If we did it all lowercase Bond, good morning Bond. So notice the lowercase one doesn't allow it to work. And then there's a couple of hints down here. You got hint the input function, plus your name, and then you've got all these different things in through here. Instead double equals to unequal, and that's how they did it. Pretty much the same. Cool. Next one. Do the same thing as exercise 7a. This time make sure that Bond is in lowercase b and it still prints out welcome on board. So just pause the video there, have a crack yourself. Cool. So here we go. Let's go. We've got input. Please enter in your name. If, now this is where it's going to get a little bit different. We're going to go name, and we can use the lower function, which will automatically convert a string all into lowercase. So we'll go name dot lower. That. If that is equal to Bond, print, and what was it? Welcome on board 007. That's right. Yep. Oop, and a full stop, sorry. Else, snaky byte, print, good morning, plus the name. So now when we run this, and we type it all in lowercase, it will still work. We did capital B. Yep. Steve. Some weird thing. Yep, still works with Bond. Cool. So input function, the same thing as what we talked about before. If statement, if this is true, then do this, else do this. And then they talked about using the dot lower. And yep, pretty much the same sort of structure. Great. Next one, write a function named evens, which returns true if a number is even, otherwise returns false. So just pause the video there and have a go. Awesome, so this is a little bit different. What we want to do is return either true or false. So we've got an even function. So we're going to literally write our own function this time. So if I mod 2 snaky by, sorry, is equal to 0, snaky by, we're going to return true, else we're going to return false. Cool. So that was odd, that was even, and that works just the same. Great. So this is a little bit different. We're using the actual function here with the return value in there. Next bit. Write a function named the decimal, which returns the decimal part of a number. If the decimal part is 0, function should return the string integer. Okay, so this is a little bit different. We're going to define our own function. So to define it, we go def, and then go the decimal. I'm going to take a value I, sneaky by it, and then we're going to check to see if the value is an integer. So we're going to get we're going to store a variable. So we're going to go to the des part is equal to I minus the integer part of I. So that's going to store the decimal so we can examine it down in this equation. So if the decimal part is equal to 0, sneaky by it. So the 0, it should return this value string. We'll go return integer, else return the decimal part. And then we run it. Yeah, cool. So 0, 9, and then 0, 0. In function, which we talked about before, that typecasts it, so it just cuts off all the other parts. And that's it there. Another way that you could have done that, just because we like learning about different ways, you could do I divided by 1. So that does integer division. And again, same result. So that cuts off the tail, basically. So it's the opposite of modding. Cool. So for anyone following along with the YouTube video tutorial series starting with introductory Python, that's it. All we need to learn today. If you want to push yourself and learn a little bit more, there's a little bit of stuff here that we haven't seen before. So if you're just following the tutorials online, just exit out now and carry on. Otherwise, let's go down that rabbit hole. So this one, tree keeper square kilometers, is a dictionary showing the tree number of countries per square kilometer for random countries with a sizable population numbers. Write a function named more trees that returns a list of country names with more than 20,000 trees per square kilometer. So they've given the beginning of the function there. So we're going to return a list. So we're going to have big trees. I'm going to make that an empty list. Like that. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. We want to iterate through it. So we're going to go for I in the dictionary, like this. So that will go through every single individual term. So dictionary works like this, where it's got a key. So Finland is the key, but the value of it is this 90,000. Taiwan has that value. Japan, whoop. Don't delete anything like that, otherwise you get in trouble. And if we go across, there's a whole heap of different dictionaries with all these different countries. So then, if the value inside the dictionary at I, because it's going to go through every single value. So if that value, which comes out of this, is greater than 20,000, sneaky by it, we then want to append to that big tree. So we're going to go have big tree dot append, and we want to put into it the value that of the key, which is I. That should work. And then if we want to return that, we then just literally go down here and we return the big tree. Cool. So these are all the trees that are bigger than 20,000. It looks like it's sequential. France, Greece, United States, and then Turkey is a little bit less. Cool. So hints with that, make sure you create an empty list, which is what we did there, big tree at the start. You can iterate through the list using a for loop that uses this if statement flow control. If you're using the iterator I to iterate through the dictionary, I will be the key, and then dict I will be the value of the key. So this dictionary I is literally the position, it's the value at that position I. And then their solution, they've done a list for I and dict. If dict at I is greater than 20,000, the list dot append else pass. So we didn't even need to really do the pass. We just literally just did an else statement. Cool. Write a function named count_L that counts the number of words that contain the letter L in a given string. So if you come down here, again, we want to do the same thing. So we're going to go count is equal to 0 to store that. And we want to count how many L's are inside the string. So we want to do a split. This is a little bit different. So to make this work, what we're going to do is we're going to go for that string that's been inputted. We want to split it up. So we're going to go I and A dot split. Snaky bite. And then if the letter L is inside of I, snaky bite, count plus equal to 1. So that will add 1 onto the tally. And then we'll go down here, return the count. Cool. So 4. So there was lemons, there was bells. So that's 2. Clementines. And then bells again. So that's 4. Great. Code worked. Awesome. So they're hints, what they said. You can use a loop to count. So see before. You can iterate through each word inside the string by using the split function. So for I and str.split. And then make sure the function returns something in the end. And then there's a little solution down the bottom here. Cool. Write a similar function in 7e which returns the number of words that start with the letter A in the string. Make sure it counts lowercase a's as well. So this sort of ties into what we did before. So just pause the video there and have a go yourself. Awesome. So let's have a go. So we'll go count is equal to 0 to start. And then we'll go for I in A dot split. Snaky bite if A, and then if we want to get the string beginning, we just literally access the array at the beginning part. If that is equal to, what are we looking for? A, snaky bite. We want to then go count plus equal to 1. And then down the bottom here, return the count. We want to do the lowercase version as well, don't we? So write a similar function, starts with a capital A in the string. Make sure it counts the lowercase a's as well. So down here, we use what we did in one of the other examples. We use a.lower. So I position 0. Cool. So let's see how many words started with A. Just the and. Cool, which is the 1. Great, awesome. So some hints, start with C, want to the lowercase, so you want to use that. You would want to iterate through using the split function and make sure your function returns something in the end as well. And then this is what their solution was down here. So if I at position 0.lower is equal to A, after you've iterated through them all, and then the count is equal to count plus 1. They've included a pass function, but you don't necessarily need to do that. Cool. So that's all of them today. Hopefully you learned something with the if statements today. They're a lot of fun and they're super useful for any coding that you're doing in Python. Thanks again. See you next time on STEAM with Steve. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. See you next time.